Okay, so let's make it epic. I'm ready to go for an hour. Apologies that I'm not exactly on time. In the meantime, now is always the best time. We got 14 of you guys. So you got to take a little moment right now to recommit. It's not easy to recommit in the midst of comfort and conveniency. It's not easy. See, if right now we were pioneers and we just had been under attack, or if we were at sea and we had no sign of the land nearby, and we would realize that our supply is shrinking at the speed of light, for all of us men to get together and say, we're doing this thing, it would be a lot easier than us being in remote places, in between work and this and that. So that's one place where you defy the odds, okay? You defy the odds. Now, a lot came very fast. First, we had the cosmic code. Think about it, think about it, think about it. It would almost not make sense that I would put together an event like that, during which we talked about life is of a feminine nature, and life will tell you, rise to the next level. Same thing, women. Women, there's no such thing as a shit test. It's only a call to a higher perspective and tapping into something greater. We must be the generation that eradicates once and for all completely the concept of a problem, because it's anti-nature. It does not understand nature. See, nature does not treat problems as problems. Nature doesn't sit down, start to cry, bitch, and whine if suddenly there's fertilizer, there is a change in weather, there is a tornado or this or that. It knows that it's all motion towards evolution, okay? We're in a day and age of advancements at the level of technology that are absolutely surreal, but ways to process life that are archaic. They make no sense. They are too ancient, and not ancient in a way a gift from 5,000 years ago. So there's no such thing as a shit test from a woman. Your life never goes wrong. Nothing ever happens that shouldn't have happened. Everything is part of a strengthening towards a greater evolution. So of course I had to have my strengthening. An initiation started on Sunday. Frank White predicted it. I know there was a glitch with the audio, which you'll finally know what we were talking about when you get the recording of the Let Spirit Lead. I go fast because here's the gift that I want to bring you guys tonight, okay? I feel that you're almost at that place. You're at a place where you have put effort in it. Most of you, many of you, your effort is above and everything. You know, if I see Jason, a cash, and your names pop up because I see 4 people on the window and the last one is a B and B, whomever B is, that's why I'm not mentioning other names. Your dedication has been uncommon compared to the common. So when will it pay off? Right now you're like balloons that have elevated, but you will experience moments of frustration because it's still attached to too many strings to the ground. For example, game. Game is wonderful. I was here before game, and if a girl asks me, I will say I invented game. Many contributed. My spiritual brother and AZD and myself today had a brief chat. We're on the same page. We no longer teach seduction. We phrase it differently. We are 2 different entities, 2 different embodiments following a certain path, a path of truth. Yesterday I had a vision of him, almost like a hologram, right there in front of me. The hologram was walking forward as I was walking forward. So never seen anything that intense. Texted him, that's exactly at the moment when he was having his breakthrough. So my point is this: game is a remedy. Game is more than a band-aid. Real good game. The game that you see other guys do is a fucking band-aid. It's a joke. It's a joke. 90% of this community is a joke. Okay? A joke. Those guys who do their little walk with their hands like looking like they're half gay behind a girl, and they go, well, I would have kicked myself if I didn't come and say hello, and they repeat it like sheeps. I got to go back over there. Where is over there? Why would you tell a fucking stranger where you have to go back? What does she care? Oh, it's a time constraint. So then just say real quick, okay? It's implied. The busy man doesn't explain himself. The happening man doesn't fucking explain himself. So if we're so smart, what do we do that's different? We're tapping into something that has been in the making, and sometimes an idea has come. And if we can be a catalyst as a group, if you guys can get this, then we can pass on something superior, and then you guys can finally experience the fruit of your efforts. The lack of this, it will repeat, you will push, you will make little headways, you will get a little discouraged, and it's gonna, through time, have you probably be at places where the guys who were like you 10 years ago, whether it was in DC or NYC, London or Miami, where are those guys right now? What about when I revisit those cities and I text the guys, oh, you know, my wife doesn't really like it that I study this anymore. Well, I'm not really doing this anymore. So what the fuck are you doing? Yeah, there's one in probably a couple hundred that stood out. If he didn't go shysty along the way, or if he didn't give up, or maybe he found his calling elsewhere. So we don't want that, you know. We want to be the Avenger, a big family, a big brotherhood. You're like my little brothers. Lately I said, you know, they're my little brothers, okay? They are my brothers, but they're my little brothers. They're still cute, and they're still gonna come crying at the door and try to not borrow money from me, but borrow a game idea or a fucking condom. So, but they're brothers, but they're little brothers. They're not like AZD, my spiritual brother, okay? So my little brothers, game is a byproduct. Game is not a mean. You can have good game and still wrestle and struggle because of the following fact. We add to all of the models, this is big. Whatever the combination may be, people always ask me, what about if she's walking towards you? What about if she's standing and you're passing by? What about if you are passing by? She's standing and you're passing by. You standing and she's passing by. What about if you're walking in the same direction? What about if it's a big group at a table? What about? We could contemplate every single fucking possibilities. In the end, here's what messes it up. Write this down. An exchange of insecurities that leads to misreading, that leads to coping. An exchange of insecurities. It's hard to tell where it begins. Maybe you trigger hers or she triggers yours. It's probably simultaneous. So it's an exchange of insecurities that leads to misreading, misconceptions, when in fact it's all one thing. It's the remaining insecurities you are carrying, and we're going to define insecurities in a moment and the solution. So number one, it's an exchange of insecurities. Then at best, game is a compensation. You're either hiding it or overdoing it, but insecurities at a level of the subconscious mind. So they are still projected and they are still detected. You can learn how to hide it well. I have seen it and I have done it. You can mask it so good that only the brighter ones will feel, will detect it. Most will go, and maybe not right away, maybe not the first night. And many, if they're stuck into their own insecurity, will feel it right away. So they'll want to avoid or something. That exchange of insecurity leads to you not understanding what she's doing and you're misreading it. And that's why, if on top of that, you're one of those guys that for every little step you take, you need a 5-page explanation in terms of what happened, what you did, and you copy that model of the phony coaches that didn't have the balls to go into the next set, or the coaching abilities to ease the student into the next set, then they would sit them down and give them a long fucking explanation. You do need the long explanation, but not in field. Not in field. In field, you need just a game bit, correction, we move. We pause, it should be 1 minute. But of course, oftentimes at boot camps, the gathering takes 5 fucking minutes. Everybody's busy looking at chicks and moving vehicles and so on. So it turns into something longer. But a boot camp with me, normally one-on-one would be pause. This, and that, because this, and that. Got it, repeat it, drill it with me once, let's go. Boom, okay? And then those misconceptions lead to false compensation. Now, if you take an object that is steady, a bicycle that stands, and you're under the impression that it's off, you make it crooked, it falls. So you cannot correct that which is complete. How are we going to remedy? How are we going to really remedy and go beyond remedy? Game is a remedy. Game, you need it. But you also need to identify the cause, and without the cause, you don't have the cure. The cause and the cure are what I just told you. An exchange of insecurities that leads to misconceptions, misunderstandings, that leads to false compensation. And further explanations that are off. The only way through this is pushing. Who will succeed despite of that? Somebody whose endurance is like no other. A crazy that can push when everybody else stops. Okay? A man who used to be a former martial artist champion who took so much pain and relocation that he can push to this initially. But then we tap into something greater. A guy that when he was 19 came to America by himself, had to work it, got in trouble, got fucking arrested, got this, got that, ended up on a fucking wheelchair, kept on going, kept on going, kept on going, kept on going. Is it practical if you have many other things going? Probably not. Are you of that nature? Not everybody is that nature, okay? Not everybody. So what we gotta realize is that when you begin, you have to know that all that you sense and feel from women are their insecurities. So you need to relearn how to see it all in a new light. A girl who passes and she's talking to her friend and she talks a little louder, insecurities. A girl who looks down and pretends that she's on her phone, insecurity. A girl who stays silent, insecurities. Every single possible behavior you can get from women is a byproduct of their own insecurity. They are insecure, they are in a state of fear. Most humans are in a state of fear. I want to paint a sad picture to you.